like this is going on in Gainesville, isn't it, with AVs? I believe so. So I'll recognize you for 5 minutes of questioning. Thank you.
Yes, we actually do have an AV in downtown Gainesville, and it moves not very fast, so there's a lot of frustrations with it, I'll say that. But thank you, Chairman Bilirakis. Go Gators. This is a very important hearing today. Excited to be a part of the conversation. Like my colleague, Representative Armstrong, I am not a science person. I cannot explain the science or the data or the technology, so I'll stick to really what I know. But I do want to, as we jump into this line of questioning, highlight the importance of data security, privacy concerns that have been expressed. I think as we talk about this important issue, we have to have that lens and that concern in the back of our head, because this can quickly get out of hand, as we've seen in so many areas of our life. I think this has been hit on quite a bit before, but just for the interest of having it on the record for myself, Mr. Shapiro and Congress around the country, many are concerned about the growing threat of the Chinese Communist Party. And we have seen that Americans increasingly, regardless of party affiliation, where they are in the country, any sort of background, they share this concern about the CCP. And tying that into autonomous vehicles and the testing situation that we're faced with, are there any U.S. companies currently testing in mainland China? That's the first question. Second is, are these companies able to send the data that they collect back to the United States from the mainland?
I am not aware of any U.S. companies in testing in China, but I'd like to follow up with a response, especially if I'm wrong.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. But on the...
And the second question, can they transfer data back? There's plenty of laws in China that they have that we don't have.
Right.
And definitely Chinese companies are treated better in the United States by far than American companies are treated in China in almost every way possible. Having closed down our Chinese office there as a trade association, I could tell you part of the concern was for our own American employees.
Right.
Because I say things before Congress that are sometimes controversial, and it's...
Me too, I get that.
And I think in this room we share a concern that China is a major strategic threat and what we should do about it. But I think we should beat them in the marketplace. And the way we beat them in the marketplace is we get this legislation passed, we get it out there. Of course, we focus on cybersecurity and our own things, but we have to get there because we've done nothing as a government for several years now, and other governments have seen that, and they're speeding ahead. And they don't have the privacy restrictions we have. They don't have the cybersecurity. They don't have the lawyers we have. They don't have everything and the challenges we face. They just get it done, and that's what scares me.
You want to tell me how you really feel? No, and just to put a button on it, there are Chinese companies that are testing in the United States, sending that data back to the mainland, correct?
I know there are Chinese companies testing here. I don't know what they're doing with their data.
You're chomping at the bit down there.
No, I was simply saying, I was going to add that same thing that Gary said. There are definitely Chinese companies testing here. I don't know where the data is going. I have no idea.
I think it's safe to assume that it is making it back, given some of the legislative issues that we contend with here versus over in mainland China.
Could I just add a cautionary note, though? I agree with the intent on the legislation for China, but we have to be very careful. When we're talking about our publicly traded companies, if there are probably shareholders in China, and so if you own even a little bit of an American company, I don't think that should ruin the ability of an American company to do what it has to do to compete in this country and globally, frankly.
I understand, and because I'm running short on time, I want to jump into this next section, but shifting gears, I think we can all agree that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's goal of creating a reporting process for AVs and driver assistance systems and real AVs, it was a good one, right? However, the process that they employed to create this reporting requirement was really incredible and should be part of the record. Instead of using their broad authority under the Safety Act to write a new rule, they used special emergency provisions to escape the Paperwork Reduction Act requirement for notice and comment when putting a general industry reporting requirement in place. Once they did start a comment period, 6 months later, NHTSA gave companies month-to-month notice of extensions for an entire year while they finished the rule. Now, this rule requires reporting of everything from an actual crash to a bird hitting a vehicle to someone posting on social media without any evidence that they were in a crash with an AV. Now, on top of that, if a company incorrectly submits data NHTSA does not correct or redact inaccurate data from the record. For example, incorrectly labeling level 2 driver assistance systems as a level 4 autonomous system before publishing it monthly on their website. Bad data equals bad outcomes and bad decisions. So this committee passed the TREAD Act in 2000, requiring reporting from all OEMs. Now, this committee knows how to structure reporting so that NHTSA can conduct oversight and get the data from industry. The AVSGO misses the mark. Sorry, I know that's a mouthful, but I'm getting to it. Mr. Shapiro, did NHTSA ever reach out to CTA for feedback on reporting requirements, and are you concerned about how they are approaching regulating AVs? And I know I'm over time, but take it away, because I know the chairman wants to hear this answer too.
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I'll have to check with our team, but I will say I'm a big fan of the Administrative Procedures Act, and I think it's important that it be followed, and increasingly, as each new administration comes in, it seems we're diminishing the role of Congress and giving the executive agencies ability to, frankly, do things they shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely. I appreciate your commentary. Thank you to all our witnesses, and thank you for everyone for being here in the committee today. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Now recognize the sponsor